Away we go today.
When the weight feels heavy and the road is long, you've been holding on, trying to stay strong. Doctors and paperwork, so much to face, but here you found a safer place. You're not alone, we're standing by your side, helping you through every twist in the ride. With knowledge, care, and a voice that's true, the Disability Digest is here for you. We've walked the path, we've heard the fight, we know the pain that hides from sight, but every story matters.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live event. So, for those of you who are new here, my name is Nadine, and I'm with the Disability Digest. And what we do is help people better understand the disability process so they can make informed decisions and avoid unnecessary problems along the way. So, before we get started, just a few quick notes to set expectations. This is a live event and a replay will be available afterward. And today's discussion is for general education only. And if ever a question comes up along the way, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll get to as many as we can during the Q&A. And also, for those of you who want to join us via Zoom and ask their questions live later, I will be posting a join link so that you would be able to come and join us here in the meeting and have a Q&A live with us. Okay. So, of course, today you will be hearing from our very own Brian Tarian, CEO and founder of the Disability Digest. And Brian will be guiding us through the conversation, breaking down what Social Security actually evaluates when reviewing disability claims. And of course, Mr. Philip Price, who leads one of the most supportive Facebook communities for people navigating the disability process. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you, Nadine. What a wonderful introduction. Welcome, everybody. Great to be with you today. We are going to talk about what Social Security is looking for. And as Nadine mentioned, if you have questions and you want to talk to us live, you can come on in here. As some people have said in the past, well, does it cost anything? No, this is a live event. It's like calling in on a radio station. You have like 4 or 5 minutes that you can speak with us, and we'll do what we can to help you out. So for today's event, I want to really, once again, attempt to communicate and clean up what Social Security is looking for to help you get your benefits approved and to help you keep your benefits. This applies to anybody. Even if you're still working, you're going to get value out of this, I hope, because there's just for the 2 decades I've been doing this, it is the same common misunderstanding out there because what Social Security is looking for is not what you're used to communicating. That's just simply it. So also with that today, today is the first day of Lent for those of you that celebrate it. I do. And I look at this as a great time for like a 40-day challenge for wherever you're at in the process. I expect that there is room for improvement in your doctoring, room for improvement in your communication. And so I am drawing the correlation between take 40 days, do yourself a favor, and just follow the directions that we're going to provide here, and it will pay you some great dividends. All right. Good. Then we're going to do Q&A at the end. You can call in. Philip, I'm sure you've got questions from your group. By the way, Philip's group is like the largest known group to support people that are going through the disability approval process. It's really targeted towards that, and it's like you have the opportunity to connect with other people that are going through the same thing, and we partner up together because that's the support system, and the Disability Digest is the how-to, like what you actually have to say and do. So great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Yeah. All right. So before we get started, and as part of today's program, I want to offer individuals a critique on your own situation. You have to call in for this. But you can take a moment while we are going through the program and enter into the comments, whether it's Facebook, I see folks out here on TikTok, and on YouTube, enter in a two-sentence statement as to why you're not able to work and qualify for benefits potentially, or perhaps you're already on benefits. Two sentences or less, and we'll critique those at the end. That will provide you some value because I would say we've done this in the past and maybe 5% of you get it right. Okay. So I'm going to speak from what Social Security is looking for. All right, here we go. So, where the challenge lies in getting what you're entitled to and getting proper medical treatment is the focus on the wrong thing. Most focus on the diagnoses. And, even if you're out like socially and talking to people, there are some people that are going to talk about their conditions, and it's unfortunate. Some of these diagnoses are unfortunate, but in the Social Security world, that is not what they're looking for. Yes, you do need to have a diagnosis for a condition, so you know what it is and what's causing the problem, but it's the limitations because you're approving, attempting to prove that you're not able to work. And it's the same for short-term, long-term disability. Um, I don't know of a company that or an insurance process that just awards based on, getting a diagnosis. It's not it. So if you think about it that way, like, okay, I've got this thing, but communicating that to Social Security is not it. So if you look at the disability numbers, 1.9 million people apply every year, 687,000 get approved. Many apply on their own because they want to save some money. They think they're going to save money, but they're communicating their conditions. So that's where this big disparity is. So that's, where our mission is here is to help close that gap and provide resources for you. All right. So now with Social Security, just to make this a little more granular for you, they're looking at your residual functional capacity. Like it's likely that you can still do stuff, but is that volume of activity that you can do, is it enough for you to do, like if you're under 50, any work out there? And if it is, then you wouldn't qualify. And if it isn't, then you would qualify. If you're over 50, it becomes more lenient, oftentimes depending on your work history, how long you've been at a job. It's tied to the type of work or the job that you did. But it's still based on this residual functional capacity. So when we started this, it was what is Social Security looking for, right? They're looking for your residual functional capacity. Like what can you still do, and is it enough to do a job? And your job, if you're looking for getting through the approval process or keeping your benefits, is to prove that you don't have a residual functional capacity to meet the criteria. All right. So here's where people really screw things up. Um, is they don't know this one. Two is they're going through the disability approval process and they go to the doctors and they go to have a doctor's visit and they get home and they take it out of their patient portal and they upload it to their Social Security file. Well intended, but this is not helpful for your case, folks. Another thing, medications. I've got a new medication, going to advise Social Security. So here's how I want you to think about it. You have a case file with medical evidence in there, and I just shared with you what you need to prove. And when you put in there an office visit, that basically is just routine comments about what they said, what they did. Um, and that doesn't communicate anything about your limitations. It's noise. All you're doing is filling up your case file with information that makes it more challenging for Social Security to approve your claim. The extreme of this, if you're a veteran out there, veteran VA is just, I don't want to, I'll use, I won't say what I'm thinking. But the VA medical records do not record limitations. It's just the way that they document. So if you're going to the VA, one of the best things you can do, according to the experts that we've had on the show, is get some civilian care if you want to get your disability benefits approved and keep them. Because there's no apparent way for them to see the limitations in your medical records. So this goes back to the noise of sending in office visits, medications, I didn't sleep well last night, all this stuff. Okay. So be careful what you put in your case file. Discipline is another key part of this, of what Social Security is looking for. We had an individual recently that had been waiting 2.5 years for a disability hearing and somehow fell off the communication radar with us and stopped going to treatment. And I just want to say it's like 7 months and just got frustrated, didn't go to treatment. Um, and so we went through the hearing and we had a unique situation happen. The judge said to him, Mr. X, I won't reveal his name, I'm going to do this for you today. We're going to reschedule. You've had historic medical treatment and I see the severity, but there's this gap. I'm just not going to go forward with it. So I don't know. Maybe you stop treatment because you feel great and you're all better. So you need to go back to treatment. So if you choose, get frustrated with your treatment, all that, I totally get it. Um, Perhaps not exactly like you do, but you have to understand that you're playing a game, is how I refer to it. And if you want to make up your own rules of the game and still win the game, it's going to be really difficult. So you have to stay in treatment for your conditions. Even when you're approved, you need to meet your treatment protocol because when you go through that review, they're going to look at your medical records, right? Okay, next thing, and a few more points that I want to bring up about what Social Security is looking for, and then we're going to get into Q&A where you can either come join us live, Nadine will set you up with a link, and Philip, we're going to hear from you and your questions as well. Social Security looks at credibility from an activity and a work perspective. Think about it this way. If you're a Social Security, like caseworker or a judge, and you look at somebody who's had a long-standing career of decent, consistent earnings. They don't need to be high. They just need to be consistent. And then this person has to stop work because of a medical condition that's well documented. And their disability check is likely going to be, let's say 30% of what their normal earnings are. Most people don't want to do that. They don't want to take the income hit. Most that I've met here, Philip, Nadine, maybe you've got an opinion on this. They want to work,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Um, and so going through this, and a lot of people are apprehensive for that very reason. I want to continue to work. I want to get back in the game. So Social Security does look at that. So if you are communicating to Social Security that mentality and that's true and rings true with you, I'd like to work. Right now, I, I got this thing going on or things, and I'm not able to. Um, that will serve you very well. And so rather than intermittent work, working under the table, not paying your taxes, job jumping, all that stuff for like it just changes the perspective. So consistent, credible effort is what it's looked at. And maybe I shouldn't have said job jumping because that's a pretty common thing right now. Um, and if you can keep your income consistent, I would say that would be a different, I would retract from that. All right. Working. When you're going through the disability approval process, you can work. The regulation allows you to do that. But it's really difficult to get a case approved if you're doing work. Especially the allowed amount is $1,690 a month. That's what Social Security says. If you're earning under that, you can apply. We'll take your application. Come on in. But if you're earning in that range, unless you have some significant special accommodations, like you're getting paid, but you're doing a really reduced amount of work, um, it's hard. Like, so from my perspective, and most that do this work, and helping people get approved. If you're in the like in certain instances, if your income is like in the hobby level of $400 or $500 a month and all the other information checks out, then it's still possible to get you approved. That's just my experience. So, what you need to evaluate is if I understand you have to pay bills and all that. This is that's where it really gets difficult, but you have to evaluate the risk reward. And then once you get approved, you can work consistently part time, and it's $1,210 a month you can earn, ideally 20% below that. So for many people, they're like, all right, well, I'll just bite the bullet and get through. And then once I'm through, I can go back. And I've known people that have actually gone right back into like nursing part time or teaching part time, things like that that they've done in the past. It was an easy migration. They just aren't able to do it on a full time basis. So just kind of a summary of what actually secures your income for disability benefits. It's the functional limitations. Make sure that you're documenting those. We do a lot of work here at the Disability Digest, teaching and coaching you how to go to the doctors and what to say and do in your 12-minute office visit. High impact and dictate the process. So that one thing alone is going to help your doctor better understand you, that despite the treatment that's going on, you still have your limitations. Um, Residual functional capacity reports. These are doctor support forms that Social Security recognizes that your doctor fills out, not all of them, but most, that confirm that you're being treated, what their opinion is on your limitations, like physical limitations, like sitting, standing, bending, stooping, lifting, all that stuff, and their opinion on how many days a month you would miss work. These are the gold standard. They are super helpful, and validating your situation and your eligibility for disability benefits. Consistent treatment, credible work history. And there's another thing that we haven't talked about, work attempts. There are times when, in my opinion, experience that it's good if you feel that it won't jeopardize your health to try to work. For example, if you've gone through the initial application phase, got denied, and you're at the reconsideration stage, there's very low approval chances there, like 11.7%. Even like with a really good representative, maybe 22. If you worked at this time and like, okay, you can pull it off, you can go back to work, then you're back to work, great. This is my position on it. But if you can't, and it's less than 3 months, then it's really good evidence for your case. Like, listen, you guys made me wait like 8 months and you denied me. I can't work. I had to go back to work. I tried to work. I couldn't do it. Right. So that can really help you. Honest communication and like just consistency. I can't stress the importance enough of like if for your 40 days of Lent to start journaling your limitations and getting this information into your medical records. If you haven't done it, now is a great time to do it. So that will pay you dividends. All right. Good. So that's a recap for today. I see we've got a bunch of questions lined up in the queue. Nadine, I'll turn it over to you and we can get on with the show.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. So, to those of you who would like to join us live in this meeting room, I'm posting the link for the Zoom room right now so that you would be able to join us. And while we wait for someone from our audience, Brian, I'd like to welcome Philip to ask his questions from his Facebook group.
Okay.
All right, fella,
Gotta clear my throat there.
got you all choked up.
Yeah. All right. First one from my group says, I am in the federal level now of an appeal. My date last insured was March 30th of 2023. My application date was June 1st of 2022, and the ALJ decision date was November 22nd of 2025. Birthday is July 1973. I was wondering if I get a remand back to the ALJ, could she make my disability April 1st, 2023 and make me get SSI instead of SSDI? And not take into consideration my borderline age situation. I hope this makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, SSI is an option anyway. It's not based on your work credits or date last insured. So I don't, if you haven't pursued that already, I don't know why you wouldn't. Because that could give you some stability. And plus, I don't know how you're staying treated unless you've got private insurance. So I would pursue that. I don't know about the judge making you do it. I think the focus on the case is when you go back to court is your Social Security disability case. So you're in a situation that I sure hope you win because it's your last like shot, right? So
Right, you did.
yeah.
All right, next member says, any advice on when you provide a mental health source statement, specifically the HA 1152, and you have at least two sections listed as marked and the descriptions show you cannot successfully socially interact with coworkers or supervisors or the public because of being off task more than 15% of the day due to chronic pain and because of emotional outbursts and episodes of rage, and supported by your mental health specialist, and they call you for one of their mental exams at SSA. How often does this happen or how often does this happen if the evidence is strong on the documents? And how often does this fail regardless of the strong evidence? Thank you.
It's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm off task today too. I think the first question that stood out to me is when to submit this. Did I get that right?
Yes.
As soon as possible. That's very valuable evidence. Now, if you're listening out there, hopefully you are, that's why you're here today. What I want to point out is there are several key limitations that were mentioned there. And it wasn't a focus on the condition. Actually, the condition, I don't know if it was mentioned. It didn't stand out to me.
Yeah.
But off task, not able to be compatible or get along with coworkers. So those are limitations. So I would get that in as soon as possible. Here's my message to everybody is put the effort in up front as part of your 40 days. Meaning if you haven't applied yet, get to work on getting the evidence, getting these medical source statement is relative to the residual functional capacity report that I mentioned. We use residual functional capacity reports. They're one and the same. Because if you can get approved at the initial application stage, you get paid quicker. And if you don't, then you're in line to go to a hearing because reconsideration has a very low approval rate. And when you go to a hearing, yeah, okay, you have a judge, somebody hears you, but it could be 2.5 years, and you could end up with a judge in like Dallas North hearing office that has a 19% approval case rating. You could have a great case, and it's just like Russian roulette. You don't know who you're going to get. Now, there are judges out there that are in the 60s, 70s, and all that, but it's just it's really tough. And if you're this other individual that had the question and their date last insured and it's gone by, and you've got one crack at it, and you end up with a 19 percenter, it's tough. There goes your income. Folks, put your effort in up front. All right.
Okay, next member says, I have an ALJ hearing scheduled for March. My
Yep.
original onset date is January the 1st, 2024. My attorney is advising I dismiss my case and start over because I have 3 months in early 2025 that went over the SGA by literally dollars. I have no choice but to still work. She said it will be harder to get approved in the future if I'm denied at this stage. But I'm reading it's going to be hard to get approved if the withdrawal at this point too. I don't understand that. I don't know what to do at this point.
This is a really good one. So we had 3 pay periods or 3 months over SGA.
3 months.
3 months. With the information there, it's tough for me to
Yeah, 3 months.
get in line. But here's a few things. I just talked about a failed work attempt. And if it's 3 months, it's less than 6 months, you can have a failed work attempt. And if this person was working with some accommodations, um, I, I'd take a look at that. I think there is some, it is correct. If you've been to a hearing and you've been denied, then going back through the disability approval process, it is more challenging because you need to have new evidence from the time that you were denied at the hearing that you can submit because they're not going to go back and evaluate all the other medical evidence. They've already done that. So that means new conditions, your conditions have increased in severity, perhaps your age category has changed. There's those variables that would help you, but I don't know, giving up on a case, I just that's tough for me to speak out and say, but I would go back and say, why couldn't this be a failed work attempt? And also the special accommodations. Were you doing the work straight up, or did you have like the ability to come in late, leave early, take naps in your car? Were you doing all the tasks assigned to your job?
Yeah.
Philip, you've got some good questions today.
Well, put your thinking cap on. This next one's going to be long.
I'm going to give this one to Nadine.
Okay. All right. Member says I was approved for disability, still have not gotten anything from them, and it's been over a month.
Hmm.
But it says, but they have an onset. No, they have an offset due to old workman's comp case that was done and settled before my disability onset date.
Yeah.
And I have submitted proof to them that they are processing. I guess it means the proof they submitted and they're still processing.
Yeah.
As my question is, they have suspended my Social Security benefits backdated to December of 2024. Onset date is August of 2023. they see that the offset is an error on their end, will I still get payments from December 24 up till they finally start paying me? I feel it is really unfair for me to be punished because someone else dropped the ball. I'll let you work with that. And they've got a second question here, but
Nadine, you want to address this one?
I can try, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Well,
Oh, sure, great.
if, yeah, if the claimant receive a workman's compensation, then there is a possibility that that is going to offset the back pay
Yeah,
that he or she is expecting. So,
yeah,
depending if there is like the Hartzman rule
yeah,
in his workman's compensation agreement.
yeah. Good answer. So for those of you listening out there, if you have a workman's comp claim going on, then listen up, because what just happened to this individual, he could have received, let's just say, $100,000 in workers' compensation. That $100,000 is going to offset $100,000 of Social Security disability benefits, back pay,
Yeah.
monthly payments, all that. Doesn't have to be that way. Doesn't have to be that way. If you have your workers' compensation attorney write into the award for your work comp award that this is amortized over your lifetime. Like you received $100,000, but that $100,000 is to be allocated over your lifespan, which let's say it's 25 years, right? So
Yeah.
then it's a little bit every month, and it likely still puts people in a situation where they get, sometimes most of their back pay and their monthly payment. And if you don't do this, because most don't, because they don't know about it, then it's just wiped out. It's all at once. So it's like taking a little bit over time. So good job, Nadine. It's just kind of a backfiller. Watch out for workers comp.
uh, I want to clarify something on this. They're saying that they got the workman's comp and they were paid, but that was all prior to their onset date. So what I think they're asking
Yeah. Yeah.
what can they do about that? Is there anything they could do?
I don't know if you received it. Um, I don't know if you received it earlier in a lump sum without the Hartman
Yeah.
rule in. I don't know. It's a good question because you are saying that you received this, but here's the other thing. Um, I don't know what the time difference is. Yeah. This is not something that I could
Yeah.
really lend a lot of value to um, in that.
All right. The last part of their question was also, I received a call last week from someone at the processing center, and he left a message stating he needed to verify some information due to this offset.
Yep.
That was the day before I submitted my proof. I have called him back twice and left messages. He has yet to call me back. Does anyone know if this is a sign they are um, working on it and it should be finalized soon?
Hard to tell. I mean, Nadine, you've done some work recently with payment centers. Any insight
Yeah.
on this one?
Well, it is hard to get in touch with them. You really need some patience waiting for someone to get
In a
on the
big
phone.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well said. Polite, persistent, patient. Try to get a fax number, or you already have the mail communication. Um, it's hard. They're understaffed and they don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Welcome to the game.
Sorry. That's it for today, Nadine.
Okay.
All right.
Do we
Thank you
have
so
any
much.
two sentence or lessers that we could address that are out there in the comments that we could tighten up before we take an FAQ? Or people can come on
There
in, join us?
there is none so far, but I'd like to invite those of you who wants to join us live. I sent in the link in the chat box. I also sent that in Facebook. So yeah, come on
Okay.
in. And while we wait for them, we do have a couple of questions here from the comments, though. Question from Judy, Judy Todd. She said, "Is Social Security sending another check out in February? The increase I received wouldn't buy a loaf bread. I would really like to receive a decent increase. I haven't received a check that is supposed to come to help."
I don't know of like a stimulus or bonus check. There isn't anything like that that I know of. I know there's one guy out there has a whole channel that's all like, you're gonna get another check, but I don't know. I know there was a COLA increase that's come and gone. You should already be locked in for that. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and if you're not receiving what you expect to be your check amount, that sounds like, you know, you need to do some investigation. Um, yeah.
All right, next question. What are some general catch-all RFC type questions and hypotheticals that ALJs usually ask the VE?
Yeah. I don't know about the RFC questions, but we did some research on examining hearings, um, and we extracted the questions from 35 hearings that different judges asked. And those questions are around the adult function form that's sent out. And not many were around the RFC, or maybe I just didn't pay attention because we've done it. This was research was done probably 4 years ago. Um, so that's like, are you paying your bills? Are you grocery shopping? Are you vacuum cleaning? Are you cooking? Those types of questions are really common. But thanks for asking. That's my take on it.
Okay. Next question here from Charlene. This is kind of interesting. She's asking, can you work if you got a rated unemployable?
I think that would be a VA type question. I have known people that are rated 100% P&T unemployable and um, come here, and they were working with that rating. Whether you can or not, I'm not deeply entrenched into the VA enough to know the regulations. I just know that some have.
Okay. All right, another one here. What are the odds of getting an OTR decision approved 2 months before SSDI hearing?
Mm, historically, like based on my experience with a 1 low and a 10 high, a 1. I just, and we had this question with, I don't know if it was Attorney Brown or Michael Sexton recently, and it's just not happening. One thing that's a possibility is if you're waiting for a hearing and you're in a dire needs situation, there is a chance that you could get your hearing moved up because the hearing list is not that long right now, compared to what it has been. Some of the hearing offices are scheduling in like 6 or 7 months. There's been times that I've been doing this work, it's been 20, 24. So that's possible.
Okay. All right, we got a statement here for you to retake. It's from Mark Green. The statement for limitations goes, I can only walk or stand for 25 minutes and have to take 15-minute break.
I mean, I would put that one as like a 9 out of a scale of 1 to 10. That's really good. Didn't mention his conditions, which you could because you have two sentences. But no, that's good. You're definitely on the right track there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we have a question here from Shelly. How do you properly convey autoimmune issues that happen after actions like stressful events, short times of work, then body shuts down for days?
Okay, there's one right there. Body shuts down for days. What does shut down mean? Does that mean that you're in bed with a sleeping mask on and nobody can bother you? Right? Like, can you get out of bed? Can you make your own food during that period of time? Like, really drill down on that experience and how frequent are those? I mean, if it
Mhm.
happens once every 6 months, that's one thing. But if it's happening 2 or 3 times a month, then that puts you in a situation where you're not employable. The other thing is, like, we've done a lot of work with autoimmune conditions like fibromyalgia. Um,
Mhm.
and in those invisible type conditions, people look healthy, right? So you need to really like nail it. And commonly with that one is like you have the flu, feel like you have the flu 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you go to bed and you're in there for like 9 hours and you come out and you feel like you've pulled an all-nighter. So then that usually impacts your focus, which is, ties into other things. So keep thinking about how your energy is taxed, what it's doing to your productivity, to your communication, to your recovery. Um, Another thing that I'm a big fan of is the wearables. And if you don't have money to do a wearable and you use an Apple product, you can get some basic stuff there. But how are you sleeping? How is your sleeping tracked when you have a flare? It's
Mhm.
probably not very good, right? And that's powerful data. And if it's accurately tracked, like with a Whoop or an Aura, these are effective. This is effective data for you to bring in to your doctor. Um, and you can just extract it, bring it in. It's like you get a patient portal medical records. Well, with
Mhm.
these, you also get data that you could bring in because they don't see.
Oh, we have Philip Lawson in the waiting room.
Oh, Philip, maybe you know him. Related.
Hello, Philip.
Hey,
Hey, how are you today?
you doing, Philip?
We're doing good.
I, I've got a question. I just done a SSA Form 455 short CDR.
Yep.
All right. I got a letter back telling me that if they needed any other information, they would contact me, but they never reset the clock. What does that mean?
When you say reset the clock, like what do you,
In
what's your
other
thought?
words, they didn't give me uh like 3 years, 5 years, 7 years for another review.
I see. Okay. And you were looking forward to that. You're like, when am I going to have the pleasure of doing this again? Is that right?
Well, I mean, I've got a condition called Charcot that my feet is at a stage 3 that I can't be. I get blisters, can get ulcers, can be amputations.
Okay.
Um, they know this at SSA. But I do all of my health care through the VA, and I see what you said earlier about the VA. They do not put limitations in there. Um, so, I mean, I'm 56. If it goes to another 3 years, that means I would be 59, which I don't know. because, like I said, they didn't give me a specific time date. They just said, if we need anything, we will contact you.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you on a 3-year review schedule, Philip?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What you received is consistent with what we hear from other people. They don't say we'll check in with you again in 3 years. They don't. The only time that that is set that I am aware of is in your initial award letter, where they'll say it's 3 year or 5 to 7. Some have none, but so you didn't specifically ask this, but if you receive the short form, that's better than getting a long form.
Exactly.
And they didn't send back an acknowledgement saying that if they need anything else, they will contact you. They didn't send back anything saying, what's your doctor's? We want to check at your med. They didn't dig into anything. So from the expert advice from Attorney James Mitchell Brown is like, I wouldn't read into it. I wouldn't call him and say, hey, when you going to review me again? It sounds like you're in pretty good shape.
So, in other words, they may never review me again.
Well, possible. It's possible. But
I mean, it just kind of, I mean, that's a government uh, organization, and they usually will let you know more than what I got back. I mean, they did tell me that they were not going to contact my doctors also at this time.
okay.
So, I mean, I felt good about it. I mean, the Lord has blessed me with that because I am got other health issues that's coming up. I've got essential tremors in my hands. They're thinking about having to do surgery, blah, 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 for this. I mean, I've got a lot of health issues going other than with just my feet, but with the jobs that I had did, I can't be on my feet and take the stress because of the possibility of amputations and so forth.
Right.
And both feet have the Charcot disease. I don't know if you know anything about it, but basically it's where your feet collapse.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it. That is new on Philip. Nadine, have you heard of it before?
No, I've not
No.
heard of it.
No. Um,
Well,
yeah.
I hadn't either until it happened to me. So,
Yeah.
so you know what I mean? I was down. Well, they approved me. I started in May. They approved me by November
Of
of
this
the same year,
What year was that? So you said 56, so it's 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Okay.
But I got approved within 6 months. I had a lawyer. But I didn't get any back pay, of course, because I got approved within SSA's time frame.
Yep.
So my lawyer didn't get no money, but yet they're still on my ticket as my contact for representation.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean,
So
that's
I
great.
mean, I just may be borrowing trouble worrying about it, but no news is good news, is what you're telling me.
Yep. And don't poke the bear.
And don't poke the bear, because I did think about calling and asking them when my next continuing disability review was. And
Yeah.
then I thought better of it.
Good for you. Good for you.
All right. Well, I thank you. And I watch you guys all the time. I'm not a member because, like I said, I've got a lawyer that's in my corner. Maybe I should have became a member because I do watch a lot of your information.
Yep.
Um,
Well,
And
here's a few things that might help you. I mean, what I don't know who your representative is, but one of the things that relative to this that may be beneficial for you is we, as a member, you get access to how to prepare and survive your continuing disability review. It's a 10 segment course put together by attorney James Mitchell Brown. So there's that information. There's like a monthly newsletter. There's support groups. If you ever have a question 24/7, internally we have a tool like an assistant that you can type it into. So there's different, like the legal aspect that your attorney does. I think that's great. But what we offer for those that are approved for benefits and trying to get through the process is, I would say it's different. It doesn't conflict. Okay. So
okay,
I
well, I didn't know if that was a legality or not.
not well, I not that I'm aware of. I mean, we like if you've watched us, you've seen different legal representatives and groups that are here.
Yes, sir.
So and it works, works the same with them. They have clients that they work with that they refer here to other for other stuff. So if it's a fit for you, we're here to help you. Otherwise, you're welcome to just watch the videos and hang out.
Well, I enjoy it, and you know, you've gave me some peace of mind. Like you say, don't poke the bear. No news is good news. But it came back within 3 weeks after I sent my form in that they decided not to pursue any other information or avenues at this time. So
Yeah.
that was quick.
And just for you and others listening out there, Philip, oftentimes they don't send back any acknowledgement. They just you send in your forms and it's like goes into some big, deep, dark abyss. Nobody hears anything. And in the same situation, you don't want to follow up on them. Make sure you send it so that it's confirmation of receipt. But and you can do these online too if it's short form. Did you do yours online or was it in the mail?
I did both to
Okay.
make sure that it got there because the form got here late somehow and it had a date and it said get it back by such and such time. So I did it online and then I filled out the same information and sent it back to them
Yep. Yep.
to make sure that they got it.
Yep. So I have one last question for you. So, as you know, we work with people that are all different parts of the process. Some listen that are working full time, going through, trying to get through, and some that are approved. You have any nugget of information, anything to share with the others out there that might be struggling to get approved or thinking about applying or that may help them out that you'd be willing to pass on?
Well, in my case, I kept SSA informed of everything that was going on from day one till the time I got approved and all that, which you're supposed to do that anyway. But, you know, my doctor did write me a short brief stating that I couldn't do this, and this, even though it's not in my medical records. Even if it's not in your medical records, if you can get the doctor to fill out what is the form that the doctor will fill out, your limitations.
Yep, RFC. So you're right. Doctor limitations. Yep, fills out confirming those. Yep.
And he also sent a letter stating his overall um, assessment besides that paperwork. Um, I've got a copy of the letter and I've kept a copy of the letter. But
Okay.
anyway, I think that helped me, but they knew I was going to be down over a year because I was in a actual boot for well over a year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What what ty-
So
what type of work were you doing?
I worked for AutoZone. I was the commercial manager specialist, and I was on my feet all day long on concrete.
And how many years had you been doing that?
I done that for 5 years, but my other um, job experience was working in factories to where you're always moving on your feet,
Got it.
etc. So when all this came up, um, I didn't know what it was, didn't have a clue. I worked 3 months, brief story, with my foot swelling.
Mm,
It would swell up over the week, and I'd come home and I would prop it up on the weekend, and I thought I was just retaining water. So I went 3 months doing that. And then finally, I went to see my regular doctor, and she sent me straight to the VA hospital. And they did x rays, the whole 9 yards. And then they set me up with podiatry.
okay.
Podiatry done this and done an MRI, and it was a confirmed that this was what it was. And it went by quickly for me. And, you know, it's a shame that folks are out there. I know of a lady right now, and then I'll let you go, that has got a disease in her vertebrae in the back of her neck that can cause paralyzation to her lower extremities, and they're fighting her tooth and toenail.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, we paid that in, is the way I look at it. Maybe I shouldn't look at it that way, but I paid Social Security in all my life that I've worked, because I'm 50. Well, I was 53 when I got disabled,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'd worked from age 19 till then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if it's not there for me to get, what's the use?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir here, my friend. I hear you. And if the system was easier, I'd be working at AutoZone or doing something different for work. But unfortunately, it's not that way. It really comes down to a few key things that you said there, Philip, that will provide a lot of value to people. Is you kept in touch, right? And you had your doctor's support in your case file. Now, a lot of you know a lot of people look at that as extra work. They feel it's entitled. I paid in, echoing what you said, and you just can't show up and get these things. It'd be great if you could, and maybe some do, but I just don't see that. So um don't spot on, really good advice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you've got to stay actively engaged with the process. Once you've got to aggravate SSA to death to get them to do what they need to do to ensure your benefits,
Right,
basically,
right.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, but I don't encourage you doing that right now on your CDR, so I'll say that in
No,
closing.
and I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm going to
Yeah,
let it ride, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah.
I just thought it was odd that they didn't reset the clock and say, well, in 3 years we will do another continuous disability review.
Yeah,
But
good.
Philip, I went through the same thing. They didn't do it with me either.
Well, how did it work out with you?
I was approved in 2014. 6 months later, I received my short form CDR. Same thing. Completed it, sent it in, never heard another word back from them. And I'm 64 now.
Well, well, dude, I tell you what, that just makes me feel awesome, because I mean, my status with my health and my feet and legs are not going to improve.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've already been told that. yes, they can do surgery, but they will not do surgery until it gets to be a have to case.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You know what I'm
I don't want to
saying?
put a jinx on anything because, I could go to the mailbox tomorrow and have a CDR in the mail. So,
Well, the good Lord has blessed me in this situation. He really has. And the Lord gave me my disability. I have to say that wholeheartedly. And the Lord's going to let me keep my disability.
Amen.
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 Amen. Hey, come
So
back and visit us. All right.
I will. Thank you very much,
Yep.
guys. You
Yep.
have a blessed day.
As well.
You
Thank
too,
you.
Philip.
Great to have you with us, Philip.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Uh-huh. All right. So, Brian, we still have one more question here from the comments. It's from Jeremy Wade Brown. This is a long one.
Okay.
So, my case is entirely mental health. I have OCD, bipolar disorder, PTSD as primary diagnosis. I'm 27. I have a master's in social work, completed online part time with accommodations. I have had over 30 jobs and have never stayed longer than 2 months due to inability to accept criticism and difficulty dealing with getting out of bed due to depression. I have 5 inpatient hospitalizations for suicidal ideation or manic episodes. I have had 2 inpatient stays this very month for suicidal ideations. I have always been consistent with medications and therapy since I was roughly 16 when I was first hospitalized for the same reason, associated with bipolar disorder. I have an attorney. The ALJ is Timothy Wing. I have supportive RFC from my psych NP, SSA's CE site. NP also agreed that I was unable to work full time. I also have a family support letters alongside support letters from my case manager and my counselor. I have had work at home jobs, work with others, work one on one. I've never been able to stay longer than a couple of months at job. I've been out of work since December 2024. My AOD is September 2021. What are the odds of getting approved?
Oh. You know what? First of all, I applaud you for a well-written communication. And I'm sorry for your situation and your degree of difficulty. To be candid with you, you probably know this already. You're young and you're highly educated, and just the ability to write that, is impressive. And that's what you have to prove as you are attempting to do with the abundance of evidence that you have. Um, I feel this. I don't know about the what a judge is going to say, because you could end up with a 19 percenter. You could end up with somebody that really connects and understand you. And that is, I don't know which judge that is, even though you mentioned it. But I want to do this if this helps you. You've done a really good job. I think you've top shelf this and getting the evidence, getting the treatment. You've tried to work, you've tried different jobs. And, you know, at some point in time, I just encourage people like Philip that was here with the CDR is you have to just put it in, if you have a God that you believe in, just put it in God's hands, and, you know, have at it. So it's probably not the answer that you wanted to hear, but with all of the variables, and I have some information, not all the information, I just cannot say, oh, You're going to get approved. It's just not something that I can do. Boy, I hope that helps because giving you some peace of mind is what I'm attempting to do. Right? Keep the
All right.
fight up. Yeah, that's what the system's for. You know what? I would like for you to come back here, and keep in touch with us. As a matter of fact, there is an industry expert that we're having here on mental health. Um, I want to say it's if April 18th is a Wednesday. I believe that's the time that we booked. So just look around that time. I'll look right here on my screen and see if I can get it for you. April 15th, tax day. Mark your calendar for that and come back. And it would be great if you get approved or whatever the situation is, if you come back and join us and give us an update, and hopefully that event will provide you with some value as well. Right?
All right. So that was the last question from me, Brian.
Great. Great. Well, listen, I mean, I applaud you for the questions. It's been great today. Everybody contributed, and I hope that you found some value in this event. If you're listening, you're like, you know what? I'd really like to learn more and get more help. The Disability Digest, we provide a membership. It's no cost. And even if you're approved or you're trying to get approved, we have information and courses that will help you. So the get started process is, I think I have it up on the screen here, is at the disabilitydigest.com. You'll see there's a green button here. You come in, and this will direct you to completing your membership profile. That's the key thing that allows us to help you because not all situations, actually, I don't know of any situation that is identical. But when you complete your membership profile, it helps us understand, like, are you approved, not approved, how long you've been out of work. Where you live has a lot to do with things, especially once you're approved. So we can, with that information, get you the best information and resources to help you out. And there is no charge for your membership. There never has been since 2006 when we started. We are for profit. We have ads, services that we provide that fund our efforts. So the membership is available for you at no charge. So if that's something that would be helpful for you, come on in. If you're already a member and we haven't heard from you for a while, especially if your case status or something has changed, you just hit the green button and go through the process and update us because it'll connect with your prior membership. We have it set up that way. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
With our next event. So mark your calendars for that. Philip, Nadine, as always, thank you much for your contribution to this wonderful event. We got to give a shout out to Micah and our tech team getting us broadcast today. All right. All right.
All right.
Good job.
Thank-
All right, everybody. God bless. Until the next time, make it a
Bye.
great day.
Make it a great day.